In the grand theater of life, it's often said that to truly make a difference, one must amplify their voice, ensuring they are not merely heard, but resonate above the din. The conventional wisdom dictates that if you're not vociferous, you risk being overlooked, relegated to the sidelines, or even trampled upon. But what if I were to unveil a profound truth, a counterintuitive perspective that suggests the very antithesis of this belief? What if I told you that the individuals who wield the most influence are not those who bellow to command attention, but rather those who orchestrate conversations with an almost imperceptible grace, maintaining composure and control without ever needing to elevate their tone? This notion is far from novel. Indeed, the venerable Stoics of ancient times grasped this fundamental principle, understanding that authentic strength does not reside in the loudness of one's pronouncements, but in the tranquility of one's spirit, the clarity of one's intellect, and the unwavering mastery of one's emotions. In our present exploration, we shall delve into the transformative power of embracing silence, and how it can profoundly alter the perception others hold of you, allowing you to garner respect not through forceful demands, but through the inherent magnetism of your presence. Let us embark on this journey to unravel the enigma of why the quietest voices often command the most attentive ears. Imagine, if you will, entering any bustling social milieu, a crowded networking event, a pivotal business meeting, or even a casual gathering of friends. You'll immediately perceive a fascinating phenomenon unfolding before your eyes. Individuals are engaged in a relentless competition, each striving to speak louder than the other, vying for attention with an almost palpable desperation to assert their presence. It's as though each participant is determined to outshine their peers through sheer auditory force. Volume surges, words cascade at breakneck speed, opinions collide in a cacophony of disagreement, and voices overlap in a chaotic symphony of sound. The atmosphere is almost palpable, thick with attention born not from the words spoken, but rather from an unspoken yearning to capture attention. It feels less like authentic collaboration and more like a stage, where each person is striving to deliver a captivating performance. But here's a profound question to ponder: does the act of generating noise, of clamoring for recognition, genuinely command respect? Or does it, perhaps, serve as a stark advertisement for underlying insecurities? The Stoic philosophers, with their timeless wisdom, offered compelling insights into this very dilemma centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, eloquently articulated, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Reflect deeply upon the implications of that statement. In a contemporary world that relentlessly urges us to amplify our voices, accelerate our pace, and relentlessly hustle, there exists something profoundly revolutionary, even subversive, in cultivating composure. True and lasting power, you see, possesses no need to solicit attention. It doesn't crave validation or external approval. Instead, it remains steadfast, a beacon drawing the world towards itself. It prioritizes attentive listening over incessant talking. It doesn't engage in the futile pursuit of attention, rather, it effortlessly commands it, without any conscious effort. Now, let us ground this philosophical concept in a tangible, everyday scenario, something instantly relatable. Envision, if you will, a typical day unfolding within the walls of your workplace. Picture yourself seated at a team meeting, an environment frequently characterized by chaotic and disorganized chatter. Each individual present is driven by a palpable desire to have their ideas heard and acknowledged first and foremost. There is often a frantic, almost desperate, energy pervading the room, as colleagues attempt to interrupt one another, speak over each other's voices, or strategically deploy trendy buzzwords like celebratory confetti, hoping to impress. It's a common misconception, this pervasive belief that volume equates to intelligence, that rapid speech indicates rapid thought. But envision, if you will, yourself as the tranquil eye amidst that tumultuous hurricane. You recline, a picture of quiet attentiveness, resisting the urge to rush or react on impulse. Where others project their underlying insecurities through a cacophony of noise, your very silence subtly broadcasts an inner fortitude, a quiet confidence. This, in essence, is the profound distinction between needing to be acknowledged and possessing the unwavering conviction that you will be. And that shift, that subtle but seismic transformation, it transcends mere tonal variation, it delves into the very depths of self-awareness. The venerable Aristotle, a figure of immense wisdom, astutely observed, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. This ancient insight resonates powerfully even today. When you possess a genuine and unwavering understanding of your inherent worth, you relinquish the compulsion to constantly flaunt it. You conserve your precious energy, refraining from the futile exercise of attempting to outshine every other individual present. Instead, you adopt a posture of patient observation. You meticulously analyze, you thoughtfully contemplate, and you bide your time until the din subsides, until the opportune moment presents itself. Only then do you unleash the power of your voice. And when you do, be assured that your words will land with laser-like precision, resonating with profound impact. They are not mere utterances intended to fill empty space, rather, they are carefully crafted statements designed to bridge a significant gap in understanding. You felt no compulsion to shout or rudely interrupt the ongoing discourse. Instead, you gracefully permitted others to exhaust themselves, expending their energy in a flurry of pronouncements. You maintained your composure, patiently awaiting the precise moment when your carefully considered contribution would be undeniably and irrefutably valuable, adding substance to the discussion. It is a demonstration of self-control. And in that moment, in that precise instant when you choose to speak, everything undergoes a profound and transformative shift. The dynamics of the room subtly realign, and the attention of all those present is drawn to your voice, now filled with purpose and authority. Carl Jung, with profound wisdom, once stated, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." This observation underscores the immense power of action over mere words. Indeed, in this unassuming yet potent act, you have precisely accomplished what truly counts, showcasing intrinsic value instead of simply making promises. Consequently, you evolve into the individual to whom others instinctively listen, not due to any forceful demand, but because your very presence commands attention. This isn't a matter of manipulation, rather, it signifies mastery. It's the mastery of perception, a keen understanding of timing, and, perhaps most crucially, the disciplined art of self-control. When the surrounding environment is consumed by impulsive reactions, the person who maintains composure and holds their metaphorical fire becomes the most formidable presence in the room. This isn't about engaging in trivial games, instead, it's about operating on a plane of existence for which most people haven't even begun to prepare. It's deeply rooted in a single, exceptionally powerful truth: restraint is not synonymous with weakness. On the contrary, it represents unwavering focus, unwavering discipline, and the profound understanding that one is not obligated to act upon every fleeting impulse simply because it arises. Therefore, it's a deliberate choice to act with purpose and intent. Furthermore, the ancient philosopher Socrates emphatically advised, to find yourself, think for yourself. In contemporary society, this sage advice might translate into resisting the pervasive impulse to blindly follow the clamorous crowd. Just because the masses feel an urgent need to incessantly prove their worth doesn't necessitate your participation in the same frantic and ultimately futile game. It's a reminder that true value comes from within and is demonstrated through actions, not through the desperate pursuit of external validation. It's a call to introspection and the courage to chart your own unique path. Indeed, the more clamorous the surroundings, the more precious silence turns out to be. In fact, as a greater multitude of voices vies for our attention, your tranquil presence becomes all the more conspicuous. Genuine respect, it should be noted, is never forcibly exacted, rather, it is bestowed organically upon those who exemplify serene confidence and genuine self-assurance. You do not find it necessary to proclaim your dominance, you demonstrate it instead by how negligibly you pursue recognition. When you grasp the concept that silence can articulate volumes, you fundamentally alter the perception others have of you, all without ever needing to elevate your vocal tone. Therefore, in your forthcoming meeting, actively resist the inclination to interject instantaneously. Allow the cacophony to unfold around you, and utilize this interval to evaluate the discourse discreetly. Focus your attention not solely on the literal content being articulated, but also on the manner in which it is being conveyed. Observe the dynamics at play, meticulously analyze the atmosphere of the room, and permit individuals to unveil their underlying motivations through their spoken words. Exercise patient waiting. When the propitious moment materializes, and you will sense it intuitively, articulate your thoughts with composure and lucidity. Observe the ensuing events. Your pronouncements will bear a certain gravity unmatched by others, not by virtue of your elevated volume, but rather because you judiciously selected your moment, and that particular moment was not seized, it was rightfully earned. This earned moment resonates with a profound impact, emphasizing the value of thoughtful observation and strategic communication in navigating complex situations. The impact of your words will be far greater than if you had simply been the loudest voice in the room. When that transformation occurs, a subtle shift in perception takes place. People begin to regard you with renewed interest, their attention drawn by an undeniable aura. They start leaning in, eager to catch every nuance of your words. They begin anticipating your insights, recognizing the value of your perspective. Thus, you've transitioned from merely being another voice lost in the chorus to becoming a powerful presence that commands respect and attention within the room. And remarkably, you achieved this organically. You did, indeed. There was no forceful assertion of dominance, no aggressive attempt to promote yourself or your ideas. You didn't try to sell a fabricated image. Instead, you simply embodied the qualities of quiet confidence and unwavering self-assurance. There exists a rare and captivating presence, one that doesn't require aggressive tactics to seize the spotlight. You've likely witnessed it firsthand, perhaps at a social gathering, during a crucial business meeting, or in a moment when the atmosphere is thick with pressure and expectation. In these scenarios, everyone is vying for recognition, desperately seeking to be heard, craving validation from their peers. They're eagerly listing off their accomplishments, attempting to diffuse tension with jokes, often talking over each other in their eagerness to be noticed. And yet, amidst this chaotic scramble, there exists one individual, sitting quietly, almost appearing invisible to the casual observer. They are not the loudest participant, nor are they overtly attempting to impress anyone with their words or actions. However, you can feel their presence resonating within the room. It's not because they demand attention through boisterous behavior, but rather because they are too grounded in their own self-assuredness to chase after fleeting moments of validation. That person carries something profoundly different, a kind of calm, unwavering energy that subtly communicates, I don't need to prove myself to you, because I possess an intrinsic understanding of who I am and what I stand for. It's a subtle quality, almost imperceptible, yet undeniably magnetic, drawing others to them like moths to a flame. Consequently, their quiet confidence speaks volumes. In a world clamoring for attention, one individual stands apart, choosing presence over performance. Rather than vying for the spotlight, this person meticulously observes, silently absorbing the intricate dance of human interaction. They commit mental notes to memory, becoming a student of the subtle dynamics unfolding around them. Their listening is not a mere prelude to a response, but a genuine pursuit of comprehension, a deep dive into the speaker's intent. And when, at last, they choose to articulate their thoughts or initiate action, it resonates with an uncommon clarity, piercing through the surrounding clamor not with sheer volume, but with surgical precision. This is not a sign of weakness, as some might mistakenly perceive. Instead, it embodies what the Stoics eloquently termed strategic humility, a potent force cloaked in patience, an unwavering confidence manifested through serene composure. Consider, if you will, how societal norms often dictate that confidence must adhere to a specific, often theatrical, presentation, characterized by heightened energy, resounding pronouncements, and rapid-fire discourse. However, authentic confidence, the kind that remains steadfast in the face of adversity, often resides in quietude. It refrains from ostentatious displays of strength, avoids boastful pronouncements, and resists the urge to immediately defend itself. In reality, those who generate the most audible noise are frequently concealing profound insecurities. Carl Jung, the celebrated psychoanalyst, once wisely observed, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And within this profound statement lies the key to understanding why quietly confident individuals do not pursue external validation through applause. They have already undertaken the arduous journey of self-acceptance. They are not seeking the approval of the collective, they have already extended that approval to themselves. This profound self-acceptance grants them a level of freedom that remains elusive to most. The true elegance of such profound self-possession lies in its frequent underestimation. The quiet confidence, often mistaken for passivity or lack of engagement, is in fact a reservoir of strength, ready to be unleashed with deliberate intention and focused impact. It's a testament to the power of inner conviction and the liberating effect of self-acceptance, a beacon of authentic strength in a world often driven by superficial displays. It is a powerful and often overlooked asset. The power of quiet confidence lies precisely in its understated nature. It doesn't clamor for immediate recognition, and this is precisely what amplifies its effectiveness. While others are actively seeking attention and making grand pronouncements, you are diligently engaged in observation and analysis. As they exert relentless pressure, you are strategically positioning yourself for optimal advantage. Consequently, when the opportune moment finally arrives, there is no need for boastful self-promotion, a decisive action speaks volumes, and the room instantly takes notice. Consider the realm of sports, for instance. It is not invariably the athlete who vociferously shouts at teammates or aggressively pounds their chest after a successful play who ultimately dictates the course of the game. Rather, it is the individual who remains observant, meticulously scanning the field for discernible patterns and astutely anticipating future maneuvers 2 steps ahead of the competition. This individual does not forcefully impose their presence, instead, they patiently await the perfect juncture to strike. Those who exhibit overtly aggressive behavior may be loud and demonstrative, yet they often lack the element of surprise, rendering them easily decipherable. Conversely, the quiet and composed individual possesses an inherent danger, precisely because their intentions remain enigmatic and difficult to predict. As the esteemed philosopher Plato aptly articulated, courage is knowing what not to fear. The silent strategist understands that being underestimated is not a detriment, but rather a strategic advantage. In the tapestry of real life, this subtle approach invariably works in one's favor. Being underestimated affords you invaluable time, granting you the space to maneuver freely without undue pressure or scrutiny. It allows you to operate with a degree of autonomy that can be instrumental in achieving your objectives. It's about wielding power with finesse, not brute force, and letting actions, not words, resonate the loudest. This allows for calculated risks and surprises, transforming perceived weakness into a potent weapon. Silence possesses an extraordinary power, it disarms those around us. Individuals tend to become more forthcoming, revealing information and inadvertently letting crucial details slip. Concurrently, a keen observer is diligently accumulating data, meticulously learning the dynamics of the environment, understanding the nuances of human behavior, and discerning vulnerabilities. Seneca, another brilliant Stoic philosopher, astutely remarked, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence." Regrettably, the majority of people fail to grasp this vital equilibrium, often speaking merely to eradicate the discomfort of quietude. However, the discerning individual permits silence to be an ally. Consequently, they begin to perceive restraint not as a sign of passivity or weakness, but rather as a meticulously honed form of control, a weapon of calculated strategy. Genuine composure transcends simple reticence born of apprehension, it embodies calculated withholding, a prelude to strategic planning. And indeed, the more prolonged the period of measured contemplation, the more devastatingly precise the subsequent action becomes. This is not inaction, but rather a deliberate exercise in intentional patience, a virtue often overlooked in the frenetic pace of modern life. Now, contemplate those individuals who maintain their steadfastness amidst the relentless acceleration of the world. They are not paralyzed by indecision, but rather firmly grounded, rooted in an unwavering sense of purpose. They harbor no fear of being overlooked or forgotten, possessing a profound understanding of the ephemeral nature of fleeting attention. Their focus lies not on momentary recognition, but on the construction of something far more substantial and enduring, a legacy that transcends the fleeting currents of popular opinion. Aristotle, the venerable philosopher, once stated, "Character is revealed when pressure is applied." And surely, there exists no more stringent test of character than the ability to maintain one's composure while those around scramble frantically for recognition, vying for the spotlight with desperate fervor. The capacity to remain calm, collected, and focused amidst chaos is a testament to inner strength and unwavering resolve, a quality that separates the truly exceptional from the merely ambitious. Therefore, embrace silence, cultivate patience, and build something lasting, for true recognition comes not from the fleeting applause of the crowd, but from the enduring value of one's contributions. Our current society is deeply engrossed in the pursuit of visibility. We are encouraged to relentlessly showcase our achievements, meticulously enumerate our merits, and ensure that our intelligence, diligence, and triumphs are universally acknowledged. However, the esteemed philosopher Socrates championed a more profound principle: strive to embody the qualities you aspire to project. In essence, cease the performance and wholeheartedly embrace the process of self-improvement. Instead of proclaiming to the world the grand designs you are formulating, allow the tangible results of your labor to serve as the ultimate declaration. Refrain from engaging in a desperate struggle for recognition. Instead, concentrate your energies on cultivating an undeniable presence, a presence that resonates with quiet strength, strategic precision, and unwavering authenticity. It is not imperative to dominate every discussion to command attention. Graciously allow others to take the spotlight, to express themselves freely. You are not subject to scrutiny, nor are you here to seek validation from external sources. Your true purpose lies in comprehending the landscape, observing the unfolding events, and strategically positioning yourself to act decisively when the opportune moment arises. Allow others to underestimate you, to perhaps even overlook your potential. Their misjudgment is not a hindrance, it is, in fact, your strategic advantage. While others are busily disseminating their intentions, you are already in motion, executing your plans with focused determination. While they are desperately seeking external approval, you are diligently constructing leverage, building a foundation of strength and influence. And when the precise moment of opportunity arrives, you do not need to announce your intentions. You simply act, with clarity, with power, and with quiet resolve. This decisive action speaks volumes, far exceeding the impact of mere words. And when that pivotal juncture arrives, everything will undeniably shift, not because you demanded it, but because your very presence commanded it. Your accumulated efforts, your unwavering focus, and your strategic preparation will converge, creating an undeniable force that reshapes the environment around you. This is the power of being, not just seeming. This is the quiet revolution of authentic success. It is crucial to understand that success is not merely a matter of luck or coincidence, rather, it is the result of deliberate design. This is the outcome that materializes when tranquility intertwines with strategy, when individual vanity recedes into the background, and when a clear sense of purpose assumes command. It is what occurs when one ceases striving for mere impressiveness and instead dedicates themselves to achieving genuine effectiveness. The genesis of conflict often appears insignificant. Perhaps it begins with a minor disagreement, a simple misinterpretation, or even a seemingly innocuous jest that, unfortunately, is received poorly. Suddenly, you perceive a surge of heat within your chest, accompanied by an accelerated heartbeat. A torrent of words races to your lips, even before you have had the opportunity to carefully consider their implications. Abruptly, voices escalate, egos ignite, and you find yourself embroiled in a heated shouting match with someone with whom you were sharing laughter just 5 minutes prior. The encounter concludes with you departing, experiencing a sore throat, a clenched jaw, and, most importantly, absolutely no progress, only an increased sense of distance. Does this scenario resonate with you? This is because the majority of arguments are not centered around resolution. Instead, they are rooted in self-preservation. As soon as pride enters the equation, understanding quietly makes its exit. We have all been conditioned, to a certain extent, to subscribe to the belief that being correct is the ultimate objective. We are led to believe that if one can successfully outmaneuver, outsmart, or overpower the other individual through sheer volume, then they have emerged victorious. It is a deeply ingrained competitive mindset that often hinders true understanding and resolution. But what tangible benefit accrues from achieving this so-called victory? The immediate dialogue might conclude, yet the deeper connection between individuals inevitably suffers. Respect, a crucial element in any relationship, diminishes. And perhaps most significantly, you yourself endure negative consequences, because that aspect of your persona that felt compelled to triumph over another neglected the invaluable skill of attentive listening. The Stoic philosophers, wise mentors from ages past, cautioned us about this very predicament centuries ago. Epictetus, a prominent figure among them, astutely observed, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In simpler, more relatable terms, no external force can compel you into a conflict unless you, on some level, permit it. You are perpetually presented with a choice, to react impulsively or to reflect thoughtfully, to escalate the situation or to calmly observe its unfolding. Arguments transform into insidious traps not because of the subjects being debated, but rather due to the charged emotional energy that we ourselves inject into them. Now, let us envision a scenario. Imagine a friend articulating an opinion with which you vehemently disagree, be it concerning the complexities of politics, the tenets of religion, or even the seemingly innocuous matter of pineapple as a pizza topping, whatever strikes a raw nerve within you. Your initial, instinctive response might be to retort sharply, to immediately correct their perceived inaccuracies, to embark upon a mission of unsolicited education. But that very impulse, that burning desire to set things straight, is, in essence, the manifestation of your ego at play. It is not wisdom that guides you at that moment. Therefore, pause, even for a fleeting second, and pose to yourself a crucial question: am I genuinely striving to be right, to prove my superiority, or am I sincerely attempting to understand their perspective, to empathize with their viewpoint? Because when you launch an attack, verbal or otherwise, you inevitably trigger a defensive response in the other person. And once an individual shifts into a defensive posture, they, regrettably, cease to truly hear you. They become more focused on protecting themselves than on absorbing your message. Their walls ascend, seemingly impenetrable, a fortress where truth struggles to permeate the barbed wire defenses they've erected. But now, let's consider a paradigm shift, a different approach. Instead of instinctively reacting with opposition, let's embrace a spirit of profound curiosity. Pose genuine questions, eschewing sarcasm, seeking understanding with sincere intent. Cultivate an environment of openness and acceptance, prioritizing space for thoughtful consideration over heated arguments. The esteemed Carl Jung, the pioneering psychologist, once astutely observed, "Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge." And indeed, he was profoundly correct. The act of altering one's deeply held beliefs is a challenging endeavor, often fraught with discomfort. Consequently, when you meticulously craft a secure and supportive atmosphere where individuals feel empowered to contemplate without the immediate pressure to defend their positions, you extend to them the invaluable opportunity to thoroughly examine and thoughtfully consider alternative perspectives. This, in essence, is the catalyst for genuine personal growth, not through antagonistic confrontations, but through profound reflection and introspection. This constitutes authentic influence, a collaborative journey of empowerment, not a forceful exertion of power over another individual. It's the power with them, a shared exploration of ideas. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, grasped this fundamental principle long before any of us. His entire philosophical methodology, which we now reverently refer to as the Socratic method, was meticulously constructed upon the bedrock of posing insightful and thought-provoking questions, rather than simply dispensing what one might consider to be the correct answers. He never resorted to silencing dissent through forceful shouting, nor did he attempt to overwhelm his interlocutors with the crushing weight of rhetorical prowess. Instead, he adopted a posture of humble inquiry, patiently listening and gently guiding others toward self-discovery. In doing so, Socrates masterfully facilitated the uncovering of their own previously unrecognized blind spots, those hidden assumptions and biases that often cloud our judgment. This is precisely why his timeless teachings continue to resonate so powerfully across the ages. Real wisdom, in its purest form, never seeks to impose itself upon others with brute force, rather, it gracefully walks alongside them, offering gentle guidance and encouragement on their individual journeys toward enlightenment. This collaborative approach is what makes Socratic wisdom so enduring and potent. In the heat of the moment, succumbing to the impulse to raise your voice, to emerge victorious in an argument, may indeed provide fleeting satisfaction. However, such forceful reactions frequently exact a significant toll on the very relationships we cherish. You might succeed in proving your point beyond any reasonable doubt, yet, in doing so, risk alienating the individual standing before you. The esteemed Aristotle, a figure of unparalleled wisdom, once eloquently stated, "Anyone can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy." Within this profound observation lies the true challenge. Anger, in and of itself, is not the adversary, rather, it is anger that lacks discipline and restraint that poses the real threat. A reaction devoid of reflection, a surge of emotion unchecked by reason, is akin to wielding power aimlessly, devoid of any clear objective. Therefore, the next time you find yourself gradually succumbing to the urge to adopt a defensive posture, resist the temptation to lash out. Instead, choose the more arduous path, pause for a moment, take a deep, cleansing breath, observe the rise of your ego, and patiently allow it to subside. Only then should you respond, not from a position of needing to be right at all costs, but from a genuine desire to be understood. Encourage the other person to elaborate, to share their perspective more fully. Inquire into the reasons behind their beliefs, and truly listen with an open heart and mind, not with the intention of trapping them in their own words, but with the sincere aim of comprehending their viewpoint. The more deeply they feel heard and validated, the more inclined they will be to open up and reveal their true selves. And when they open up in this way, there emerges a genuine opportunity for transformation, not only within them but also within you. This exchange fosters empathy and mutual understanding. Furthermore, the illustrious Plato, another luminary of ancient wisdom, wisely proclaimed, "Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something." Let this timeless adage serve as your guiding compass, directing your interactions and shaping your approach to communication. It is a gentle nudge to prioritize substance over mere noise, thoughtful engagement over impulsive reactions. It is a reminder that the most impactful contributions often stem from careful consideration and a genuine desire to contribute meaningfully to the conversation. Avoid speaking merely to occupy the void of silence or to capture fleeting attention. Instead, let your voice be heard when you possess something truly significant to contribute. Allow your words to originate from a place of clarity, rather than being driven by raw emotion. They should be born from profound insight, not fueled by insecurity. Therefore, the individual who can maintain a sense of grounding, even within a tumultuous environment filled with clamorous voices, will ultimately prevail. This individual, who communicates with unwavering calm, exercises patience in their interactions, and guides others with genuine empathy, will invariably command control. This control extends beyond the mere management of a conversation, it encompasses mastery over themselves. And it is precisely within this self-control that genuine power begins to manifest. Indeed, some people traverse through existence much like ripples gently spreading across a serene pond. They are fluid and adaptable, constantly responding to the ever-changing environment around them. They are usually well-intentioned, and they react with commendable speed, but they navigate their path with an air of uncertainty. They are perpetually adapting their course, rather than taking the helm and directing it themselves. Conversely, there are others who approach life with a contrasting demeanor. These individuals do not rush headlong into situations, nor do they recoil in fear or flinch at challenges. They also do not feel compelled to announce their every move to the world. They exhibit a quiet intensity, an unwavering focus. And when they ultimately act, their actions are defined by sharpness, deliberation, and undeniable impact. Their presence is akin to a bolt of lightning streaking across the sky, sudden and unexpected, incredibly precise, and utterly unmistakable in its arrival. It cuts through all obstacles and preconceived notions with ease. For a brief, but transformative moment, the entire landscape of understanding is forever altered. That distinct presence isn't forged from mere swagger, rather, it's cultivated through unwavering decisiveness, not necessarily louder in its delivery, but undeniably sharper in its execution. In a contemporary landscape that often celebrates instantaneous action and immediate gratification, the act of deliberate stillness becomes almost revolutionary. Precision, in such a frenetic environment, is a rarity, and it is precisely this rarity that imbues it with its extraordinary power. Imagine a world where everyone is perpetually sprinting, relentlessly chasing fleeting opportunities, constantly posting updates, and incessantly shouting their opinions into the digital void. Within this chaotic whirlwind, the individual who possesses the self-discipline to decelerate, to carefully assess the situation, and to move only when absolutely necessary, the one who strikes with unwavering clarity instead of contributing to the surrounding noise, commands a completely different caliber of attention, a respect that transcends the clamor. The Stoics, those profound philosophers of antiquity, grasped this fundamental principle long before the advent of modern hustle culture and its relentless demands. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic sage, famously declared, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This potent quote resonates deeply because it leaves absolutely no room for hesitation, for procrastination, or for endless debate. It is a clarion call to action. Therefore, eschew empty performances, resist the urge to preach moral platitudes, and abandon the endless cycle of overplanning. Instead, simply act. To illustrate this concept more concretely, let's consider a simple, tangible example. Envision yourself holding a dry stick delicately in your hands. If you apply gentle pressure, a tentative push, it bends slightly, yielding to your force. However, if you approach the task with uncertainty, if you apply uneven pressure haphazardly, the stick resists your efforts. It might even snap back unexpectedly, delivering a stinging blow. But if you approach the same task with a single, focused burst of energy, a direct, confident, and utterly decisive application of force, the stick snaps cleanly, instantly, and without resistance. The difference lies not in the amount of force applied, but in the unwavering focus and decisiveness behind it. Thus, be the decisive force, not the hesitant nudge. The metaphor that truly encapsulates effective action can be likened to the forceful impact of a hammer striking a nail, driving it purposefully into its intended place. Any endeavor falling short of this focused intensity is, regrettably, merely wasted energy. This delineates the stark contrast between subtly hinting at something and directly, decisively hitting the mark. Yet, with surprising frequency, we find ourselves playing small, holding back not due to any inherent lack of capability, but rather because we harbor a deep-seated fear. We are afraid of progressing too rapidly, of committing errors, of standing out too prominently from the crowd. This is particularly evident in professional environments, where individuals often engage in a constant stream of verbalization regarding their ideas. They signal their perceived level of busyness and ambition, perpetually previewing their next monumental undertaking. However, it's crucial to recognize that movement devoid of a clear direction is simply unproductive noise. It does not impress, instead, it depletes and exhausts. Therefore, if you genuinely aspire to distinguish yourself from the ordinary, cease broadcasting your forthcoming steps to the world. Instead, simply take them. Construct your vision in quiet contemplation, meticulously refine it while others are still engaged in endless discussions about their own aspirations. Then, and only then, when you unveil the fruits of your labor, let the presentation be so undeniably clear, so undeniably complete, that it effectively concludes the conversation. Not because you uttered more words than anyone else, but because you delivered substantially more tangible results. The impact will be undeniable. It is vitally important to emphasize that this philosophy isn't advocating for reckless abandon. Decisive action is not synonymous with impulsive behavior. On the contrary, it is carefully prepared, thoroughly considered, but never excessively overanalyzed to the point of paralysis. Regrettably, a great many individuals mistakenly equate mere motion with genuine progress, failing to grasp that motion alone, devoid of purpose, does not propel you forward towards your goals. Therefore, focus on direction first, then embrace the power of decisive action. Execution, in essence, is the catalyst. Planning, devoid of decisive action, often metamorphoses into a deceptive comfort zone. It may masquerade as productivity, yet in reality, it is merely procrastination cleverly disguised. Socrates, a beacon of profound wisdom, astutely observed that the very genesis of wisdom resides in meticulously defining one's terms. It is paramount to definitively know what your target is, to possess a crystal-clear vision of your objective. Do not, by any means, act blindly or impulsively. However, equally, do not succumb to the paralysis of endlessly waiting for an elusive state of perfection. Clarity, that sought-after state of understanding, does not emerge from the labyrinth of excessive rumination, rather, it is forged through the crucible of action. One of the most pervasive reasons for failure among individuals stems not from a deficit of intelligence or a lack of inherent skills. Instead, it is rooted in hesitation, in the debilitating tendency to second-guess oneself. They become ensnared in the hypothetical quicksand of what-ifs, instead of actively shaping the tangible reality of what now. And it is precisely at this juncture that Stoicism transcends the realm of a mere mindset, it evolves into a dynamic and empowering way of moving through the world. Seneca, the eminent Stoic philosopher, issued a poignant warning: it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Ponder the gravity of that statement. Reflect upon the myriad opportunities that have slipped through your fingers simply because you were waiting for the elusive promise of absolute certainty. Waiting for the celestial alignment of the stars. Waiting for external validation, for someone else to bestow their approval upon your idea. Meanwhile, while you were waiting, someone else, perhaps possessing less inherent talent but imbued with unwavering intention, moved forward resolutely. They seized the opportunity, they claimed the space, the very space that could have rightfully been yours. Therefore, embrace action, cast aside hesitation, and forge your own path with intention and unwavering resolve. Plato, the eminent philosopher, wisely stated, "The beginning is the most important part of the work." He didn't emphasize the planning phase, nor the promises made, but rather the very act of initiating. The commencement holds paramount significance, because the moment you embark on your journey, you distinguish yourself from the masses. A significant portion of individuals remain perpetually on the sidelines, never truly venturing into action. They engage in endless tinkering, meticulous tweaking, and extensive discussions, yet they consistently fail to take that crucial first step. Consequently, the world holds a profound respect for tangible results, not merely well-intentioned plans. When you operate with unwavering certainty, there is no need to constantly justify your choices. Indeed, your accomplishments resound far more powerfully than any elaborate explanation could ever achieve. Therefore, allow yourself a moment of introspection. Take a reflective pause and meticulously examine the tapestry of your life. Single out a specific element, just one singular thing. Perhaps it's a project that has lingered on your mind, a change you've contemplated, or a critical decision around which you've been incessantly circling, yet have never fully committed to. Approach this evaluation with unwavering honesty. Delve deep within yourself and identify the true impediment holding you back. Is it a pervasive sense of fear gripping your resolve? Is it the nagging uncertainty that clouds your judgment? Or perhaps it's the alluring, yet deceptive, illusion of perfect timing that keeps you paralyzed? Whatever the underlying cause may be, cease your endless orbit around it. Instead, strategically step back from the situation, meticulously design a comprehensive strategy, and refine it in the privacy of your own thoughts, constructing it with the diligence and focus as if no one were observing. Then, when you feel authentically prepared, resist the urge to cautiously creep towards your objective. Instead, move with the sudden, electrifying speed of lightning. Communicate directly and without hesitation, execute your plans with pristine precision, and confidently occupy the space you have rightfully earned, without feeling the need to apologize for your ambition or your presence. Embrace a new paradigm, where half measures are relegated to the past, where backpedaling is no longer an option, and where waiting for an elusive state of readiness is banished forever. No more procrastination, no more hesitation, step into your power. You are not expected to feel entirely prepared, rather, you should be deeply committed. And indeed, when you proceed with that level of lucidity, uncertainty finds no ground to flourish. Consequently, a certain profundity resides within silence, a weight that remains elusive until experienced firsthand. This isn't the silence born of awkwardness or social unease, nor the heavy silence that arises when words fail. This is something distinct. This is a deliberate, purposeful silence, the kind that fosters space, tension, and even a sense of intrigue. It is a silence that subtly alters the energy within a room, all without uttering a single word. That, truly, is silence, and that, assuredly, is power. Regrettably, the majority of us haven't been taught to embrace silence. We are, instead, conditioned to react, to promptly fill any void, to respond without delay. This is because silence often feels synonymous with uncertainty. We experience a surge of panic when others fall silent around us. We engage in excessive overthinking, we make assumptions, and we interpret silence as rejection or judgment. The reason for this is simple: we are unaccustomed to stillness holding more profound meaning than noise. But the Stoics, with their profound wisdom, understood far better. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, once wisely stated, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And what, pray tell, is silence if not the ultimate expression of being unlike the incessant clamor of the world? Therefore, by embracing silence, we defy the norm and assert our inner strength. The clamor of the world is incessant, it shouts, it champions its causes, it battles fiercely to gain recognition. However, the truly sagacious, the individuals possessing genuine wisdom, adopt a different approach. They exercise patience, and they make deliberate, thoughtful selections. Reflect, if you will, upon a past occurrence. Visualize the moment when you sent a heartfelt message to someone, a message imbued with authenticity, perhaps even a touch vulnerable and exposed. Then, utter silence descended. Minutes stretched into what felt like endless hours, and your mind became a labyrinth of bewilderment. What thoughts were swirling within their consciousness? Had you committed an error? Should you have articulated less, or perhaps more? This very chasm, the interim between the dispatch of your message and the arrival of their reply, becomes fertile ground for your imagination to flourish, often uncontrollably. It serves as irrefutable evidence that silence wields considerable power, because within this seemingly empty space, individuals inadvertently reveal facets of themselves that they might never disclose during a conventional exchange. Furthermore, controlled silence has the remarkable ability to redirect the spotlight, casting it back onto the other party. This strategic maneuver compels them to confront their preconceived notions, their underlying motivations. It ignites within them a sense of curiosity, prompting them to ponder the contents of your thoughts. However, in reality, you are simply exercising the conscious decision to abstain from participating in their game. In the context of negotiation, this particular brand of silence metamorphoses into a distinct tactical advantage. The majority of individuals tend to speak with undue haste. They acquiesce prematurely, and they rush impetuously to bridge the gap, driven by an underlying fear of the unease that stillness engenders. Yet, you, possessing a different temperament, choose to wait. You exercise restraint and allow the power of silence to work in your favor. You understand that in the pause, in the unsaid, lies the potential for profound influence. Therefore, you wait, observant and deliberate, and in doing so, you gain an edge over those who succumb to the pressure to fill the void. Allowing a deliberate pause to linger can be a powerful tool. You empower that silence, imbuing it with significance. You permit it to cultivate a sense of uncertainty in the air. This strategic hesitation isn't a sign of wavering, rather, it functions as a form of leverage, a subtle but potent force. Indeed, it skillfully introduces an element of doubt into the other person's thought process, almost compelling them to bridge the unspoken gap with their own assumptions and explanations. As Al Jung once profoundly observed, in all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. Silence, in this context, embodies that concealed order. It quietly reshapes the power dynamic between individuals, achieving this transformation without resorting to direct confrontation or hostility. It uncovers insights and perspectives that a hurried approach would invariably obscure. And yet, embracing this kind of strategic silence demands a considerable degree of inner strength. It isn't simply about refraining from speaking, it's fundamentally about consciously and deliberately choosing what you will withhold from expression. This conscious restraint necessitates patience, a firm sense of self-control, and a heightened state of awareness. As the ancient philosopher Aristotle so eloquently stated, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Silence, when diligently practiced with clear intention, represents one of the most refined manifestations of patience. It is discipline made manifest in action. Particularly within a society where nearly everyone is expected to possess an immediate reaction, a readily available opinion, and an instant take on any given matter, resisting this prevailing impulse is an uncommon occurrence. This very rarity is precisely what endows it with such considerable value. When you consciously restrain your response, most notably when deliberately provoked, you transition from operating in a reactive mode to functioning as a strategic thinker. Therefore, you gain the upper hand. The vast majority of people navigate life on autopilot, reacting impulsively the moment they experience a sensation. However, Stoicism, that ancient philosophy of resilience, proposes a different path. It asserts that true fortitude isn't manifested through immediate expression, but rather through deliberate restraint. Strength, in this context, is synonymous with tranquility, with a profound sense of calm. It embodies the capability to observe events and emotions dispassionately, without being swept away by their tide. It's the conscious choice to listen attentively, even when every fiber of your being urges you to speak. And perhaps unsurprisingly, nothing unsettles others more profoundly than a silence that feels calculated, a silence pregnant with intention. Indeed, The renowned Socrates once astutely observed, "I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think." This profound statement perfectly encapsulates the power of silence. Silence compels people to contemplate, to delve into deeper reflection, sometimes even to confront uncomfortable truths. Therefore, it's crucial to recognize that you are not obligated to respond to every message that floods your inbox. You don't need to perpetually justify your actions in every group chat or tirelessly defend yourself against every misunderstanding that arises. Instead, allow people to ponder, to speculate. Allow your silence to forge a chasm between their preconceived notions and your actual reality. After all, that which is scarce and deliberately withheld often garners the greatest respect. Consequently, when you consciously choose not to speak, not to react defensively, not to offer immediate explanations, you are effectively communicating to the world that your energy, your thoughts, and your very presence are not commodities to be freely dispensed. They are valuable assets that must be earned through genuine connection and understanding. Remember, not every situation demands your vocal contribution. Sometimes, the most potent response is the considered withholding of one's voice. There are individuals who simply require your presence. Allow others to perform their acts, let them actively pursue the limelight and the validation that comes with it. You, however, possess a different kind of power, one that commands attention through the very act of stillness. Because silence, when it stems not from fear or uncertainty but from unwavering focus, is not merely an absence of sound, it is, in fact, presence amplified, a palpable force. It doesn't whisper, "I have nothing of value to offer the world," instead, it boldly proclaims, "I possess an unwavering understanding of my intrinsic worth, and I do not relinquish it lightly." This silence doesn't beg or plead for attention, it earns it, painstakingly, through deliberate intention, through carefully considered restraint, and through the quiet, unshakable certainty that unequivocally states, "I know precisely who I am acutely aware of the treasures I carry within, and I have absolutely no need for superfluous noise to validate my existence or prove my capabilities." In a world that often mistakenly equates volume with value, and constantly rewards excessive noise, your cultivated silence can become your most formidable weapon, a strategic advantage that sets you apart. Therefore, move through the world with a profound sense of inner calm, speak with unwavering clarity and purpose, and allow your very presence to accomplish what mere words could never hope to achieve, to communicate volumes without uttering a single sound. Thank you deeply for being an integral part of a community where stillness is transformed into unyielding strength, and profound thought becomes a potent source of personal power. If this message resonated with something deep within your soul, if it sparked a fire of understanding and self-awareness, there is another video eagerly awaiting your attention, one that delves even deeper into these powerful concepts. It's conveniently located right there on the screen, ready for you to explore. Go watch it next, and always remember that we will be here, patiently waiting, whenever you are ready to embrace your next moment of profound clarity. We eagerly anticipate continuing this journey of self-discovery with you.